continuing education, it looks very insufficient, honestly. Oregon and Washington both have standards. They both have licenses that you have to maintain, and all the national organizations that that are typical that you could belong to. ASHI, the American Society of Home Inspectors; InterNACHI, the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. I've belonged to both of them. Then there's other ones. They all have continuing education requirements. I think they're a little weak. You have to have the continuing education, but it's not really what probably people would think that it is. It's kind of like education in modern schooling, really, when it comes down to it, especially with the advent of AI. Like, are you really writing that essay? Are you really taking that test?
Right.
Are you really are you really watching that class and taking the test and digesting that material, or are you just passing it?
Yeah.
I think for the most part, with most inspection education, especially continuing education, it's kind of just going through the motion, honestly. Most of the education that I get on it, when it really comes down to it, and I love books, I'm a big nerd, it's seeing.
In the field?
It's in the field. One thing that was a huge advantage to me, there's not a lot of, because the industry's not that old, is being a second generation inspector. It was normative in our culture, and to be a second, third generation mechanic, to be a second, third generation builder. But you didn't have a lot of home inspectors until the late 90s. So, initially learning from my dad and learning in that time period, that was super helpful. But really most of the education that I get is on the spot, in that moment, repeatedly seeing the same things, seeing them enough to where you have a knowledge about houses that you simply could not learn in a class. Why is that 1993 house in the middle of the winter have frost underneath the roof? I never learned that in a class. I know it because I've experienced it so many times. Why does that same house in the middle of the summer have mildew underneath the sheathing and look like the roof is leaked? I've seen inspectors say that the roof leaks, and it isn't. That's not their fault.
Yeah.
They just haven't seen it enough.
Right.
If you go to a class and you see moisture stains on the underside of a roof, it's reasonable to assume that the roof leaks, but it's not a roof leak. It's condensation, usually.
Interesting.
So education, this goes back to the experience thing. Most education that an inspector is going to get is the same type of education that a mechanic is going to get. Most mechanics have not received sufficient education in a 2022, Toyota Tacoma.
Right.
But they've been a mechanic for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's the same principles. They're seeing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't learn that in a book.